Hey Neos, this is Yusuf for Good Games No One Played, and today it's Marc Ecko's Getting Down. We are going to try something different. I will do a plot summary on this game if you guys give this video 30 likes. I cover enough games that no one gives a crap about on this channel. It would be nice to know if y'all were excited about them. And check out the playlist if y'all have a chance. That's enough self-promotion. Getting Up is the second game about graffiti that I've reviewed. The other was Jet Set Radio Future. But whereas the Jet Set Radio games happen in Japan or Tokyoto, Getting Up happens in New Radius, or not New York. It's the city that has to keep stroking itself on the back with musical anthems because people don't want to visit it. Why don't they want to visit? Because New Yorkers tell you how great it is while simultaneously telling you that on every corner, someone is waiting to jump out and stab you and take the $15 you have in your wallet. I'm sure it's not completely like that, but every rapper I've listened to since I was 10 really wants you to know that New York, specifically Brooklyn, is the hardest place to come from. They're all from Brooklyn, by the way. Notorious B.I.G. won an award, and he didn't say, "We did it, New York." He said, "We did it, Brooklyn." Even though, statistically speaking, it was most likely going to be Brooklyn that did it. In the game, we follow a really stupid kid named Train. His actual name is Coltrane, but he does graffiti and writes a shortened version of his name. Like, my name is Yusuf, and I write Seth. No one is ever going to figure out that the mild-mannered YouTuber is really the graffiti artist named Seth. I mean, there's a bit of nuance to Train. There's a lot of rappers spell names incorrectly. A lot of graffiti artists spell names incorrectly. So anybody could see Train and think of a subway train just spelled a different way. And that's pretty cool. However, if they do catch Coltrane doing his thing, and then they cycle the word train back to Coltrane's name, he's gonna get clowned while they're putting the handcuffs on him. Then he's gonna get clowned in the rough ride all the way back to the New York City precinct, New Radius. Then he's gonna get clowned while he's doing his mugshot. Then criminals are gonna clown him while he's sitting in the holding cell. It's like, what's your name, little man? My name's Train. My real name is Coltrane. They'll be like, what? Anyway, Train's daddy died, and his mommy isn't around because if she was, she would beat the crap out of him for being so dumb. He lives with his grandma, who's just like, "Hey Coltrane, if you bring the feds to my door, I'm going to cane you."
If you leave now, I don't want you coming back.
Train leaves his grandma's house and gets cracked over the head by a 2x4 from a dude from the Vandals gang. Now he hates them, and he's on a mission to spray paint pieces over their names, and that's how we start. And Train is played by Talib Kweli, a well-known older rapper. I bet you can't tell where he's from. Anyway, he's dope, especially when he did the Black Star album with Mos Def, aka Yasin Bey. That album is classic. The plot in the game is really shaky because graffiti is illegal. So the game kind of puts you in a situation like a pimp movie in which being a pimp is kind of cool though, but the pimp can't win in the end. And Train is an art ninja. He creeps around at night and puts artwork up for everyone to appreciate. Along the way, he runs into actual legends of graffiti who tell Train how to do better and sign his book.
Coke too. Yo, would you mind getting up in my black book?
Look, man, it doesn't matter how fresh your style is if nobody sees it. The more spots you get up, the better, so stay up, Train.
It's dope because if you're a street art enthusiast, you can look up all of these characters and appreciate all the stuff they have on the internet. At these times and during levels, you can get more and more graffiti for your art book. The book has it all from fat Sharpie marking to stencils, throw-ups, and full pieces. A lot of the art you get is because of the plot, and then you just keep it. I liked most of them, but I stuck mostly with the fuller pieces because it was easier to know the spots that you forgot to spray. I do admit, after playing this game, I have a newfound respect for graffiti artists and street artists being the ones who do it legally. Follow Killamari and Mr. Totem on Instagram, by the way. And Killamari is just dope, and he's a nice guy. And Totem taught me how to break dance, and he's a legend graffiti artist in my book, even though my book isn't that big. Links at the bottom. On to the actual game, right? Train is usually given an assignment to put his graffiti all over any given area that he's walking into. Hence the name of the game, Getting Up. That's the game's slang for making your name known as a graffiti artist in high places. And Train has this graffiti vision in which he can tell where the best places are to put his art pieces up. All you have to do as the player is climb up to these places, choose the pieces you want to spray, whether it's going to be a small one or a huge one, and get up. You get rep points for doing bigger pieces and not getting drips. And drips are leaving your active spray can on one spot for too long. The game has a mayor for a villain, and the mayor doesn't like the freedom of people defacing private property. So he lays down a curfew and sends out police and riot gear to enforce it. Really heavy World War II vibes. Normally, Train has to either beat up the riot cops or try to sneak around them and spray the things that he wants to spray. You have optional places to put up your artwork, and you have mandatory places to put up your artwork. He has an issue with the Vandals, like I said before. It's a rival gang, even though at the beginning, Train is all by himself. So it's him versus the Vandals. And Train has to do his fair share of beating up Vandals as well. And they have a stealth move where you can creep up on somebody and you can bust them in the head with a can of spray paint. But I have a problem pulling that off because the move requires 2 buttons simultaneously. And when it comes to stealth kills, I get too anxious to push 2 buttons, really. You got about 8 billion buttons on this controller, dude. Why don't we just activate a stealth mode and then have 1 button to push? I don't get it. When Train gets into fights, it's all about kind of managing your fighting. You have ducks and rolls and all of that stuff, but you basically need to work your way up to being able to do a power move and busting people in the jaw with a big kick or a mollywop punch. Those things usually do the best. Although the best thing you can do as a New Yorker fighting street style Flatbush is to pick up a brick or a 2x4 and mollywop people with one of those things. New Yorkers don't really fight fair. They're always using the urban jungle as their weapon, and so you always gotta watch out for them. You could get in a bit of a boxing match, but the other dude's got Timberlands all the damn time, and he's gonna kick you with them. Train is absolutely no exception. Anyway, that's Marc Ecko's Getting Up. It's a middling stealth game about graffiti culture. It's truly one of a kind, though. If you know more graffiti games, let me know. I'll play them. This premise could go anywhere there's oppression, and I'm here for it. Could you imagine a graffiti game that was happening in a war zone, where you don't actually shoot and kill people, but you just kind of need to get the word out to people, and that's the way it's done? In a world where the government shuts down all communication and cuts off all sorts of internet? Instead of it being like Faith in Mirror's Edge where they have to run messages to important people, you could be the graffiti guy who has to run around and put messages up on the walls so that people understand what the plan is. It might be an interesting thought. Anyway, don't forget, 30 likes for me to make a plot summary of this game. I think the plot is pretty funny because to me, New Yorkers are big babies with weird accents, yo. Although they probably haven't been talking like that since like 1995. Anyway, until next time, y'all save me like Neo saved Agent Smith. Peace.